Hello, welcome back. I'm Kristen Lee. Like I said, you're getting 2 videos today because I don't know who's interested in this trial and who's not. But I'm interested in it, so I'm gonna recap. I think we just finished week 3 of the Depp vs Heard libel trial. I'm probably gonna get days and witnesses wrong, because I'm doing off the top of my head. I didn't really take notes this week. Thursday I missed a lot because I had a lot going on in my personal life. So, Monday, and the other thing is we had some gems this last week. And I think that this is the last week of Depp's witnesses. I'm pretty sure. Or if anything, they're going to finish out their witnesses on Monday, and then Heard's side gets to go either Monday or Tuesday of this week. I think Judge Penny has something going on Monday, so I don't know if we're starting late or if we're ending early on Monday. Before I go anywhere with my thought process, if you want a non-biased opinion and recaps of each day that are pretty short and sweet, I like Nick Wallis. He is a UK journalist that did an excellent job for the UK trial, and he's in the States and he's in Virginia, and he's been doing these park bench interviews with people that have been in the courthouse for the entire day, and to get their takeaways and to make it more engaging. So yeah, so I'm gonna link him down below, because if you want just an idea of what's going on and nobody getting too emotionally charged and attached to this case, you might want to watch him. But anyway, so Monday started off and we got to hear from the 4 officers that were called for the 911 call that Amber's friend called from New York City or New York. I don't know where she was. She wasn't in the building. She wasn't even near her friend, but she heard that there was distress and that Amber was hurt, and she called 911. For some reason, she thought because she had a California phone or something that it was going to go to the California police if she's in, I don't know. I can't even start with some of her friends and their thinking. Maybe it's because I grew up where I grew up and I know how certain things work. I don't know. Anyway, so she called from New York and got the first set of officers. And the discrepancy between Heard's team and Depp's team is that first set of officers, they did not have their body cams on. But they were told that it was a domestic dispute. There was possible DV. And that's all they knew. They had no idea what they were walking into. And they didn't take really detailed notes because there wasn't anything to report. Amber was upset and she had been crying, but there were no marks on her. There was none of the destruction that she has said that was in that apartment. You know, all the things that have been in her story about that day, there was no evidence saying that it happened. So those officers were grilled, basically. And then the second set of officers had their body cams on, which was interesting to me because I hadn't seen the body cam footage yet. It hadn't been released to the public, or if it had been released as evidence, none of the YouTubers that I follow had the money to purchase it to put it out on the internet. So they went through both officers' body cam footage. And they also took the, oh my gosh, my brain's shot. The elevator security camera footage as well. And they kind of like kept bouncing back and forth from it. And yeah, because I think Elaine was like, okay, is this you? And then they would show the body cam footage later on in the questioning. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There was no damage at all. And the friend that said that he had taken the officers in and showed who Amber was and let them go speak to her, and, you know, that never happened. That it never happened. He didn't even want to let them in the house. But they have to go in. The one officer did a perimeter check on the hallway and things like that. They didn't even know if this guy Josh was the person that did the DV, or that he was the husband or anything like that, because he didn't even introduce himself. He didn't say, hi, my name is da 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 da, this is what happened, because that's what you're supposed to do. They were so friggin' shady. And then all the people that said that they were there when the officers were there, they were sitting on the couch. No one got up to greet them. No one was distraught. No one was upset. Amber wasn't even crying because it was later on in the day. It totally was not what she said happened. I'm going to take a drink of my Mega Pint. So, that happened. And then, I'm not sure who went next. I know that the property manager, Ben King, he was a gem. He was a spot of English tea and biscuits. Like, he was fantastic. And that was the day that the lawyer on Heard's side objected to himself. I'm sure that you've seen, especially if you're friends with me, clips of it happening. And for me, when it happened, it was one of those things like, you hope for like it to happen on Judge Judy, you know, once in a while. Something ridiculous. But usually it only happens in the movies, you know, for comedic effect. Not in a real multi-million-dollar lawsuit. It was ridiculous. And then one of the questions they asked him, because he said that he took pictures from another incident that happened in Australia when Johnny had his finger severed. I'm still bitter about that. I don't know how he can talk about that without being angry. But anyway, so the property manager is the one that found his finger and the tip of his finger that had fallen off. And everyone in the chat and everyone that I was speaking to, we all kind of had like this aha moment, because the way that it's been described in everything that I've been following, like, it was impact. Like, you knew that the finger had been severed. The tip of the finger had been severed. But what makes sense now is Ben King, he found the tip of the finger in a paper towel, which there was discrepancy over that part. The guy was like, I don't speak, you know, British, so is it a paper towel? And the poor guy's like, it was in a piece of paper. And they're like, why would somebody put the tip of their finger in paper? And he goes, everybody has it. And they're like, a napkin? He goes, kind of like a napkin. And they're trying to figure out that it was a paper towel. Anyway, what made sense to me is that the first thing you would do is grab something because it's bleeding, and it must have fallen off, or he, like, when he was putting pressure on it, and when he put it down, like he threw it down or it fell off or whatever, it fell off with the finger in it, or the tip of the finger in it. And it was one of those things like, oh my God, he didn't even know his finger was off yet. Like, because you just assumed that he was like, my finger. But he didn't. He was more like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. She threw 2 vodka bottles at me. And now my hands is like bleeding all over the place. Anyway, so they're talking about the destruction, and Ben King's like, yeah, I took pictures. And they're like, you took pictures of this, you took pictures of that. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, they're like, well, it's not in evidence. He goes, they didn't ask for them. You didn't ask for them, but I have them. Well, why do you still have them? He goes, because I'm a property manager. And they're like, well, what does that mean? He goes, I have to maintain the property. And he was like, what did the lawyer say? Something along the lines, you still have the picture of the vodka bottle. He goes, yes, I do. I have the picture of the S from the vodka bottle. So he has the evidence that correlates with this story. And it was just like, just give him the money now. Can we just give him the money? Let the poor jury go home. Anyway, so Ben King, if you have time, if you want to watch highlights, watch his highlights. And then the next day was the island manager who takes care of the property on his island, on Johnny Depp's island, and she was asked about different things. Apparently she is one of the ones that heard the arguing but did not see any DV happening. But Johnny also had, well, the story that he's put on the record is that a paint can or mineral spirits or whatever hit him right here, so he had a dent here, and then he ended up getting black eyes. And this woman said that it did happen. And what else did they talk about? They were talking about they've been trying to spin so much on his addictive problems and his alcohol. It's ridiculous. Like, if they're not getting anywhere with the witness, they'd spin that back around. It's like, get off it. Like, so what did your client? Your client did E and all these other things. Get off of that. That's not why we're here. But anyways, so where else did we go? Oh, I forgot about Dr. Curry. I have such a crush on this doctor. She was the forensic psychologist that came on. She was amazing. Amazing. And they were trying to discredit her. And I was so upset. Elaine was the prosecutor for the cross-examination. Oh my goodness. So apparently Dr. Curry went out of her typical routine when she was being put on retainer. I was going to say retained. I'm like, that's not a word. But she was going to be put on retainer from Depp's team. And they kept saying, no, Johnny Depp hired you. And she's like, no, his team hired me. Yes, the team is hired by Johnny Depp. So ultimately, I kind of am. But at no point was it just Johnny Depp and I. Anyway, so the court had allowed for Amber to be tested because she said that a lot of her behavior and the things that are on the recordings are from PTSD and all these other things. So Depp's team was like, okay, fine, let's test her. Let's see what happens. So they hired the forensic psychologist, and she was so engaging, so amazing with the jury, so just able to bring it to layman's terms so well. And I felt smarter after she talked. So, or spoke. Obviously, I'm not that smart. Anyway, so Elaine gets up there and she goes, well, you went to Johnny Depp's house and you had dinner and drinks. And she goes, first of all, I met his team and Johnny was there. But she said Mr. Depp. Like, she was very professional, but she wasn't taking nothing from Elaine either. She said, yes, dinner was served because the meeting went overtime, and I might have had a drink, but I was there to go over the case for them to see my qualifications, to see whether or not it was something that would work for them, before they even put into the court to get a motion to have her tested. And she was like, but it was a high profile case and you had dinner and drinks. She goes, dinner was served because we were there so long. And then Elaine was like, well, if you didn't find anything useful, you wouldn't be here. And I'm thinking, yeah, she would be, because then you guys would have hired her and said, okay, we said that she had PTSD and this proved that she has PTSD and it stems from da 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 da, because she had to take 25 tests or something like that, and it's over 500 pages. I'm not going to air out her what the discoveries were and things like that, and her just mental disorders that were talked about. Because honestly, if you know, you know. If you don't, you probably don't care anyway. But and it kind of gave you some empathy when she explained what her findings were. So when that happened, Elaine's like, well, you were all buddy with Amber because she was also your high profile client and you bought muffins. And she was stuck on the muffins for so long. So much so, like, I had muffins for breakfast. Dempsey went out and got muffins. Buddy Cakes was thinking about cooking muffins, and I don't know if Carissa ended up getting muffins or not. But anyway. Oh, God. But yeah, Dr. Curry was fantastic. We've noticed that Elaine will belittle any witness that is smarter than her. And so does Rottenborn. There's no sense of professionalism. There is no empathy. There is no nothing. They are so rude and so abrasive to the witnesses. So Dr. Curry kind of touched on the island's manager. She kind of got into a middle of one of their verbal arguments. God, losing track of my days now. I want to say Wednesday. Was Wednesday the ACLU? No. Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. Because Tuesday into Wednesday, like, they had a lot of already pre-filmed depositions, and they were super boring. They're important for evidence and everything like that, but they're super duper boring to sit through. I don't know how people in the courthouse are sitting through them. Yeah, I can't remember what the other ones were. I think I dipped out on one of them. I know I fell asleep at the end of somebody. Anyway, doesn't matter. And then the other gems from the week was Romero. He's the guy that I have the best picture ever, so I'm gonna put it here somewhere. He did his deposition from his car because he did it on his break, and it was live because he was in California and they were in Virginia, and Depp's team pushed through it, did what they had to do. They were done. Elaine gets up there. I think it was Elaine. And it was just ridiculous. Like, I don't understand where they're going with this makeup idea. Because in some depositions, they go with the idea that she is a natural beauty and there's very little bit of makeup and whatever. And then in other depositions and witnesses, it's you wouldn't know if she was wearing makeup, and that she's this amazing makeup artist. So anyway, Romero got to the point where she's like, why are you here, or something like that, or do you know why you're here? And he's like, I keep getting these papers and it says I have to do this, but I'm over it. You know, everybody's got problems. And you know, I saw what I saw. I haven't changed my not opinion, but his witness statement in all these years. And he's like, I can't keep telling you the same story over and over again and give you a new version of it. It's my story, and this is what I did. He got so frustrated with Elaine, he vaped on camera. Now, it's legal here, and I don't know if it's legal in Virginia, but it's legal here. And he went off screen and then puffed. It's like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, he did that in front of a judge, in front of a jury. I was like, oh my gosh. And Johnny Depp kept laughing, you know, because Romero was basically any other person. Like, he'd totally be me, but I don't vape. But I would be like, I'm over this. He told a story about how he was called up to the penthouse that Amber was staying in. She's like, oh my God, I keep hearing these noises and I think somebody's trying to break in. And can you just get up here and, you know, just check it out? And he's like, all right, it's part of the job. But lady, your husband owns 5 penthouses on the top floor. There's only one way that they can get there, and that's you letting them up, them going past us on the front desk, or them coming from the garage. But you have to have certain keys and fobs and things like that to get to where you got to go. So he goes up there, and it's the dog. They didn't let the dog in the apartment. And so he knocks on the door and goes, it's the dog. And she goes, oh my God, can you check the house and make sure everything's okay? And so he's going through the house and he's like, lady, there's nothing here. So, all right, I'm on 22 minutes. So Romero was good. The agent that took care of both of them, Chris, whatever. I'll put his name somewhere. Oh my gosh. A, how did Lady Gaga find him even remotely interesting? B, how did this guy get Johnny Depp and Amber Heard any jobs? And C, oh my gosh, I thought he was drinking a beer in his deposition, but apparently it's the bougie, juice, seltzers, soda things. I don't know. All I know is that for one deposition for one team, he was in this beautifully lit, mirrored room, and in the other one, he was like fresh out of the shower. I don't know. I just don't understand why these people are like, all right, we're here. You're in my house now. I'm gonna put my feet up and, you know. Anyway, yeah, he was super duper boring. He just, my conspiracy, allegedly, my feeling is that he thought he had a chance with Amber. I just have this gut feeling that she was playing him too, because she's the one that got him to get a house or something so that Johnny would break the TRO to try and mend things. But this agent did say that she was already seeing Elon Musk. So what men things, I have no idea. So I didn't really like him. I'm glad that Johnny moved on from him. I'm glad that this guy can go on camera and put into evidence that he doesn't have any hard feelings or anything like that for either one of them, because I guess that as soon as the divorce happened, Johnny Depp left his agency and went with another person to another firm. Happens a lot out here. Who else? So that happened. The guy Ed White was pretty cool. It was a little bit boring, and I hated how Rottenborn treated him. Like I said, they've been very abrasive, very rude, and very condescending to the witnesses, but I did not like how he treated this like very grandpa-ish witness. But he was the accountant that found out that Johnny Depp was in trouble, and he's the one that was like, look, you're in trouble, but we can make this work out. It's just going to take us a while. He's also the accountant that took care of the divorce settlement payments. And we found out that Amber got close to $14 million paid to her tax-free for her lawyers, for just odds and ends, plus so it was the $14 million, including the $7 million that she supposedly gave to charity, that it's not all to the charities that she had pledged to. So he was interesting. And to find out that the woman spent $100 grand in wine, and that her favorite wine was $500 a bottle, and she could drink 2 to 3 bottles a night. No. My wine costs like $9 out here. My favorite wine in New York is about $20. And I drink maybe half a bottle. So, and it's once in a blue moon. I couldn't imagine spending $500 on a wine and just guzzling it down like it's juice. Anyway, nothing to do with it. It was one of those things where I was like, how much you spent on wine? And then to find out that after the divorce happened, that Johnny Depp's alcohol bill went to almost nothing, other than at, holidays and special occasions. So Ed White, ACLU, confirmed that the op-ed is about Johnny Depp, that there were writers that were hired to help her write the op-ed. She did not write it on her own. We found out that the ACLU did not get paid the $3.5 million that they were promised, and Amber got paid to write the op-ed. Not by the Washington Post, but also by the ACLU. So, whatever. That guy was sweating something fierce. He was, oh my goodness. So, who else happened on Thursday? Our buddy Malcolm. Oh my gosh. He was the security guy. Actually, there's 2 security guys, and then I'm done for the day, even though I think there was one more person that came on. But Malcolm is Scottish, and he didn't take anybody's junk at all. And he got the guy that objected to himself on Monday with Ben King, the British guy. This guy got everybody with accents. Anyway, Malcolm is the one that brought Johnny to the hospital in Australia about the finger. He's the one that has been with Johnny, with his former boss, who has passed on, Jerry Judge. So he's been part of this security team for a very long time. So they were trying to discredit him by saying that he is only loyal to Johnny Depp because Johnny Depp paid him. And he said, dude, I'd be loyal to you if you paid my wage. He goes, that's part of the gig. You know, you're supposed to take care of whoever it is that you're taking care of. And then they were like, oh, well, you get presents from Johnny Depp. And he's like, yeah, and I give him presents too. It's for his birthday or Christmas or whatever. So anyway, this guy gets to the story about friggin' Johnny supposedly was urinating in the foyer, and this security officer, Malcolm, had to pick him up and bring him to wherever he had to go. And he, you know, was peeing. And he goes, what are you talking about? He's like, you saw Johnny Depp's penis. And Johnny Depp lost it. He was like, he couldn't. And the look that Amber gave her attorney, I was like, somebody's gonna get it. She gonna throw something at you. Are you gonna be fired? So, but watching Johnny Depp just lose it, and he's like, I'm sorry. But anyway, so Malcolm was good. He also had photos of Johnny after certain incidents that had happened that Amber has spoken on publicly. And she didn't have black eye, but Johnny did. And they were on some kind of train in Japan. That was their honeymoon. I don't know where they were going or, you know, what the destinations were. But there's a picture of Amber and him, or Johnny Depp, and the train staff. Got a hiccup. And they're smiling, and Amber looks all, you know, big old smile. And then you look at Johnny, and he's got two big black eyes. Anyway, so that happened. And then the security guy after that, I think his name was Terrence. He was the security that was hired to go with Amber to Coachella. He was also the security officer that knew about Poopgate. And he was the security guy that Amber got mad at Johnny and had a Diary of a Black Woman moment, and she chucked his stuff out the window, including his cell phone, his wallet, and his passport. So they had to turn on the Find My Phone feature, and the guy had to, where did he go? I think he said Skid Row, which is pretty scary area. And he found the guy, and the guy's like, well, what's it to you? You know, what do I get if you need this stuff? So he ended up getting like close to $500. I think it was like $420 in cash, chicken tacos, and some other snacks and a drink. Like, I just but anyway, he was also the one that went to Coachella with her and witnessed that there were no marks on her. So the fight that had happened that led to Poopgate and everything like that, she had nothing on her. So that's everybody I can remember. Like I said, there were some people that I missed. Yeah, I know I missed a few witnesses, but that's my recap. Oh my God, I'm at 35 minutes. Sorry. But it's an entire week's worth of info. I woke up today to Amber Heard. They're trying to spin it in the news. I don't know if the ACLU is trying to save face or whatever, but they're using pictures of her and her daughter, and saying that she just wants to move on, you know, she just wants to be over this court case. I would be too if I was being seen as a liar that I am. Like, girlfriend needs to either settle or get her A game on, because I don't believe her. I don't believe her at all. So, and I hate the fact that they are using her daughter instead of taking the information that Dr. Curry put out there and saying, okay, you know, it came out in court that she's suffering from this disorder and that, and these are the therapies that she's using or whatever. She could have went that way, but instead she's like, I'm a new mom. And I'm like, you chose to have a surrogate have your child while you were going through this crazy time. That's not fair to her. That's not fair to you. I have no say in when you can and cannot have a child. You do you. But at the same time, don't play the victim and use your child as a scapegoat. It's very sickening, in my opinion, but you know that I don't like her. So that is week 3. We're going into week 4. And my poor panel, and even Nick Wallis, everybody's getting tired. Because like my panel that I watch, one guy's from Australia, another person's from Canada, another person's from the UK, and it's all different times, but they're entertaining, and I like the fact that they stay quiet during the trial part so that you can listen to what's happening during the trial, and then during breaks and intermissions and stuff like that, they hop on and give their takeaways right as it's happening. Instead of some of the other channels that I've been like peeking in on, they are talking over the witnesses and stuff, so you don't get to make your own opinion because they're just stating what they think or how they feel as it's happening. Which the 2 that I did watch, they're lawyers, so it was kind of cool to watch the recap and listen to what they thought as things were happening, because it sounds like when you go to a live game, baseball or pick your sport, but you go to a sports event and people are like, come on, you know, coach, or this, that, the other thing. But in this case, everybody's yelling, yeah, you know, good job, judge, or come on, where's your objection? Hearsay. So yeah. So I will be back next week. They are hoping to be done. Well, they will be, whether or not they are able to wrap their cases into nice little bows or not. Judge Penny is like, you have so many days and this is what we're doing. So yeah, we have another week, and then I think it should be done by Memorial Day. And then I don't know how long the jury is going to take. If I was on the jury, I'd be like, I already know. Where's the team that Johnny's side? I've had enough. I want to go home. So I hope you guys have a great week. If you watched this far, this long, thanks so much. And I hope you like my commentary on what I think about things. Oh, I kicked you. Sorry. And have a great night. Bye.